What's up YouTube, I'm Vaughn and this is the Gear channel where we discuss collectibles, hobbies, competitive games from tabletop to video games, and today we are finally finishing Know Your Policy series because the last remaining chapters we have is the disqualification review, suspension and suspended persons that include the A suspensions for infraction occurring at sanctioned events and also B suspensions for infraction outside of sanctioned or official events. And then finally, we have chapter 7, which is just the contact information, which is pretty self-explanatory. Now, before we begin, friendly reminder as always to like and subscribe, especially if you guys enjoy the policy series and if it helped you in any way. And also if there's any other more examples that you guys need or explanation to go into specific details, or next series I'm planning of maybe we should start going deeper into game mechanics, because a lot of people are not familiar with a lot of probably like game mechanics that are like very old rulings, and especially for new players they won't see these type of interactions, and especially if you're learning through like Master Duel they don't really include them as much as well. So definitely hit me in the comments down below and we can see what kind of other series we're going to plan for here on the channel. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So we're going to go into disqualification reviews. So a person who have been disqualified for an event are subject to review by the KDE penalty committees to determine if further penalties will be assigned. So disqualification persons are responsible for filling out the disqualification forms at the event, which provides them with the opportunity to tell their side of the story. Disqualification persons should provide as much details as possible about the infractions and the investigation and ensure their contact information is accurately recorded. Refusing to complete the disqualification forms or provide accurate person information will not prevent the disqualification from taking place. A disqualification report will also be collected from the head judge and any opponent, spectators, and other tournament officials who were involved or witness to the incidents. Authors of disqualification reports may be contacted by KDE US for further details or clarifications about the incident. Disqualification reports will be reviewed by the KDE penalty committee and persons will be contacted with the committee's findings. In some instances, no further actions will be considered necessary. In others, the person may receive the additional penalty of being suspended from the KDE organized play program. Okay, now for chapter 6, suspensions and suspended persons. Okay, so A, suspensions for infractions occurring at sanctioned events. So suspended persons who have provided a valid email address with the disqualification paperwork will be notified of their suspensions along with the date on which they may apply for reinstatement into the KDE organized play program. Suspended persons who have refused or neglected to provide a valid email address with their disqualification paperwork will not be exempt from being suspended. They will be unable to receive notice for the suspensions. Persons who are suspended from KDE organized play will be included on the suspended persons list. A suspended person may not participate in or attend any sanctioned or official KDE organized play events until such a time as they have been reinstated as a person in good standing. This includes but not limited to playing, spectating, judging, etc. This restriction includes all tiers or organized play. Suspended persons will not automatically be reinstated into KDE organized play on or after the date on which they are eligible for reinstatement. Suspended persons must contact the KDE penalty committee at us-penalty@konami.com and request reinstatement. Suspended persons will not be notified whether or not they have been reinstated by the KDE penalty committee once their request has been fully reviewed. Even after eligibility date has passed, persons are still considered to be suspended until they have done both the following: applied for a reinstatement by emailing the KDE penalty committee and to request reinstatement, 2. Receive an email notification from KDE confirming that they are once again a person in good standing, which is kind of odd because it says that you need confirmation, but it just said suspended persons will not be notified whether or not they have been reinstated to the KDE penalty committee once the request has been fully reviewed. That's kind of weird, but okay. Persons with questions about their status as a suspended person and or person in good standing may contact the KDE penalty committee at uspenalty@konami.com, which is very true. So you will contact them, and it does take some time also. So keep that in mind that you might have to either email multiple times, but it does take a while to get their attention. They should include their full name and card game ID with all inquiries. B. Suspensions for infractions outside of sanctioned or official events, and unsporting conduct severe or unsporting conduct cheating infractions does not have to have been committed or discovered at a sanctioned or official event in order to result in a suspension. KDE reserved the right to suspend persons from KDE organized play programs for infractions not connected to a specific sanctioned event as long as the infraction impacts or connects to a sanctioned event in the past, present, or future. In these instances, persons do not need to have been disqualified at a sanctioned event or official event in order to warrant additional penalties from the KDE penalty committee. Persons who are suspended for these reasons will not be included on the suspended persons list. These includes, but are not limited to, severe or ongoing harassment of another person, retaliating against or harassing a judge or other tournament official, cyberbullying, creating online content targeting or harassing another person, appearing on a sex offender registry. Yeah, that's I think that should be prioritized. Being arrested or criminally charged. Meh, I don't see how that's relative to a card game. Making threats, impersonating a Konami employee, publicizing privileged information. This includes, but is not limited to, publicizing or otherwise sharing unauthorized information about product that has not been released. Publicizing or other profits, or is it profiting from stalling or leaked product or images. Okay, so if you share like new release stuff before it was released, that we actually see happen commonly actually. Admitting to cheating, theft, etc. at a sanctioned official event after the fact, counterfeiting card accessories or other items, product or licensed by Konami. Persons suspended for these infractions who have available contact information will be notified for their suspensions along with the date on which they may apply for reinstatement into the KDE organized play program. A suspended person may not participate in any or attend any sanctioned or official KDE organized play event until such a time as they have been reinstated as a person in good standing. Suspended persons will not automatically be reinstated into KDE organized play, which I think they should. Yeah. I think like they should like do it and that they do the update for the suspension. So yeah. On or after the day on which they are eligible for reinstatement, suspended person must contact the KDE penalty committee at uspenalty@konami.com and request reinstatement. Suspended persons will not be notified whether or not they have been reinstated by the KDE penalty committee once the request has been fully reviewed. Even after the eligibility date has passed, persons are still considered to be suspended until they have done both the following. 1. Applied for reinstatement. 2. Receive a notification from KDE confirming that they have once again a person of good standing, which is weird because it just says suspended persons will not be notified whether or not they have been reinstated to KDE penalty committee once they request a full review. So these two like counter each other. Persons with requests about the status as a suspended person and or person in good standing may contact the KDE penalty committee at uspenalty at US penalty at Konami.com. They should include their full name and card game ID with all inquiries, which we're going to be doing soon. Yay! Okay, and then finally, Chapter 7, contact information. So for questions, please email. So North America, United States, and Canada, it's US OP support at Konami.com. Latin American and the Caribbeans, it's LA das OP support at Konami.com. And then KDE penalty committee is US penalty at Konami.com. And yeah, I actually have contacted the US OP support to find more information about for contacting US penalty. So they're actually very consistent. They actually go and email pretty fast and right away, no issue. So usually it's like the following day. US penalty, not so much. But it's okay. One day that would change. And that's it for Know Your Policy. So we read all the chapters. We're all up to date. I know that there has been some updates, so we'll definitely check those out. But these are definitely the mandatory penalties and policies that you need to know, especially if you are judging an event. And it's always good to start reading these specific policies, and especially if you look into like new updates as well. These are definitely like information we're going to check, because yep, we found like some new ones with like the time rule. Now it's like 45 minutes instead of 40 minutes, which is a big difference. So there's a lot of penalties that's been like updated, but it's very good information to know, especially if you're a player or even a new judge. These are information that you have to be well prepared for, so it benefits you a lot. And that's it for our series. Now, if you guys enjoyed our series, definitely like and subscribe. And if you want a sneak peek of future products we're planning to review here on the channel, you can always follow me on my Instagram, VaughnGear. I'm Vaughn, and this was the Gear Channel.